I am Enfield Town Football Club match day safety officer and general stadium manager, dog's body, whatever. Yeah.
Can you tell me about, the general day-to-day pressures that is being involved in a club like this?
Yeah, helping out with a non-league football club, especially a fans' own one, takes a lot of your own family life time up. Evenings, weekends, whatever. We're here most weekends during the football season. Stuff. Being self-employed, I can be a little bit more flexible and time-wise, and I can work my work around needing to be here or whatever. But yeah, sometimes you feel like you never leave the place. Sometimes it feels like it lives here.
But your family have actually become involved in it, haven't they? So your wife's involved.
Oh yeah. Jill's been involved for since the start of Enfield Town FC, and was even involved with the old Enfield FC as well. I know with the junior supporters club side of things. And my daughter has at the old, before we came to Queen Elizabeth Stadium, my daughter's worked at the club as well in the T-bar. It sometimes gets, what's the time? Oh, we've got to go, you've got to rush here, rush there. But hey, if you didn't enjoy it, you didn't do it. Simple as that.
And tell me about when you started to love football. Tell me about how football became part of your life.
Always been involved, I suppose, with football somewhere along the line, even from school. Played not greatly, but played a bit at school, and then got involved with the supporters club team. Did a bit with them, and then got involved with the football club. I got asked to if I wanted to help out on match days at the old Enfield FC, stewarding and things like that. And then slowly but surely, it sort of grabs you and takes over your life almost.
So do you love football, or do you love the role and the club, or are they one and the same?
I think it's one and the same. I think generally what tends to happen is I'm the sort of person who, if I went on holiday, I wouldn't sit on a sunbed. I'd be doing something. I couldn't sit around. I could perhaps have relaxed for a couple of days, but then I'd have to be doing something. So the football side of things is just you continuously, if I'm not at work, I'm at home, and then we're doing something to, connected with football or whatever. Yeah, and that's generally how things tend to sort of rub through,
Tell me about the club.
Well, the club being fans owned, I mean, we broke away from the old Enfield FC simply because we were ousted from our original home at the other end of the playing fields here. And we were on the road, if you like, for a year, 18 months, about 2 seasons nearly. And in the end, we just got fed up with it. And we just said, I got to a point where I said, well, I'm not doing this anymore. And a few fans got together and we had a chat, and people said, well, we'll start our own club. And I went, well, yeah, go on then, that's not as easy as you think. And before I knew where it was, lots of other people had got together, and the whole idea just sort of took off, mushroomed and took off. And we formed Enfield Town FC, and the rest is history, as they say. Being a fans-owned club, everybody's part of it. Everybody's got as much say as anybody else. We've got a board of directors, but they're all elected people who have to stand every several years and be elected. So if you're not happy with them, you can vote them off. And if you want to stand and have your say, you can put yourself forward. Every member can do that, which is a very democratic way of running a football club.
So you've lived in Enfield your whole life?
Whole life, yeah.
Whole life?
Yeah, whole of my life I've lived in Enfield, yeah.
Which is why you've been watching them for so long. And tell me about how Enfield's changed as a place to live.
The whole face of Enfield has changed completely, absolutely. Whereas you could sort of almost time an egg to things, you can't now. Things are so unpredictable, and life generally is, in some regions, it's 24 hour now, shopping, things like that. You can go to Tesco's or whatever, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, you never used to be able to do that. Your shopping time was set. It doesn't happen now, and that's life generally, I think. Things go on and on.
Where do you think the club will be in 5 years?
My personal opinion, I don't think we need to get any higher than the next level in the next 5 years. We're Brahman Premier now, perhaps Conference South in the next 5 years, and just consolidate the club generally, because I think we've got to build our fan base bigger, and our income streams have got to be improved, etc., so the club can go forward. Because lots of clubs, especially being a fans own club, lots of clubs, they get a money man comes in and he throws money at it, and the club suddenly races up the ladders and then all of a sudden he either gets the ump or his business goes skint, and then his money goes, and then all of a sudden they come crashing back down again. Well, we don't want to be there like that. We don't want to go racing up the ladders and then come crashing back down again. To me, that doesn't work. It really doesn't work.
And if you were to give a young person today advice on getting involved in their local football club or football in general, what would your advice be?
Probably make sure you've got plenty of spare time on your hands if you want to get involved. Because you once you're involved, it's a little bit like a drug. You can't. I say you can't not go. Yeah, you can not go, but you tend to sort of, oh yeah, well I'll just pop down the club, and you think you're going to be half hour, and you end up 2 hours later, and someone's giving you a phone call. Where are you? What's going on? And you said you'd be. Oh, sorry, and just runs away with you sometimes.
Do you love
quite
it?
Easily. Yeah, I really enjoy. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. I wouldn't do it. I do enjoy it, but we are sort of we are sort of tied down a little bit, but hopefully I might get a weekend off this weekend if I'm lucky.
Can you tell me about democratic club ownerships? Do you think that more small clubs will move to that model of running a club?
Absolutely, because more and more clubs are realising, or more and more fans are realising, that they can have some say and some control over what goes on, simply because the way we run our club is a very, very democratic way we run. As I said before, when someone's at the top and he's got all the money, he can do what he likes. The fans can boycott it to a certain extent, but you will always get a certain amount of fans that will go along, that will keep the club going. But more and more fans are getting fed up with that, and there's more and more breakaway clubs of main clubs now. Manchester City, Manchester United, or FC Manchester United, or Manchester, whatever they're called. More and more clubs are doing it because I think they want more control over what's going on. They're fed up with being told what's going to happen, and they want more control on what they're putting their money into, if you like. They go and pay their money through the turnstile each week or whatever, and they want more control of and a little bit of a say of what happens. And they don't want to just be told, well, this is what's going to happen, and that's it, take it or leave it. They want to have a little bit more of an input. And more and more supporters trusts are cropping up at all main clubs now, and they have some sort of direct influence, but sometimes they've got someone who's invited to sit on with the directors as a co-opted director, just to give sort of more input.
Do you see the Enfield as being able to advise other clubs on how to develop that strategy of working?
We worked with a group called the Supporters Trust, and we were the first fans-owned club in Great Britain, actually owned and run by its supporters. Everybody pays their membership fee, £1 of which goes towards your membership, your share. That's your pound share of the club, and then the other £9, if you like, it's £10 a year at the moment. The other £9 goes towards the club, and as members we all have a share in the club, and that's how that works. AFC Wimbledon came and see us a year after we did what we did, and said when their owner moved them to Milton Keynes, Wimbledon to Milton Keynes, how did you do what you do, and can we sort of have a blueprint of what you did? So some of our directors went along and sat with them, advised them, and as you know, AFC Wimbledon are now a Football League team, obviously with a much bigger following than us, so that's why they've been able to climb the ladder quicker, because their incomes from supporters is much bigger. So that's how they've worked.
How do you get sponsorship?
I mean, sponsorship is just you approach local businesses and whatever, and it's perimeter advertising and shirt sponsorship and whatever else they want to sponsor, tracksuits, whatever, all that sort of thing. That's how our sponsorship side of it comes. We're dabbling with the idea of corporate sponsorship from the point of view of business can put in a certain amount of money and they will get their return in, say, 5 years' time. But they leave that money with you for 5 years. It's a bit like a sponsorship bond. That's something we're going to try, and it's very difficult to get that going because obviously at the moment, financially, everybody's got the squeeze on. Every business, and it doesn't matter who they are, have got the squeeze on. So getting sponsorship, I mean, especially this year, been extremely difficult. chap called Les Gold is our main sort of sponsorship guy who goes round, and he's worked his socks off this year to get what we have so far. We're not quite at the target we want to be, but we understand that every business out there is in the same boat as everybody else and struggling a little, and that's the only way of getting it along, other than sort of selling half your shares in your club and having a big investor come in. That's the other way of doing it, but that's not really the way we want to do that. You know, we don't want to let the reins go, if you like. You know, we want to keep control of what's going on.
And you do a lot of socials.
We've got a social committee. I mean, we annually go to Ascot. We've done that for the last 5 or 6 years. We do a lot of social stuff. Now we've got our own venue to do socials. You see, previous to being here, we've shared grounds starting out, and the place hasn't always been us, and it's not always been easy to get social things going. That now is starting to pick up a little bit more. We're going to start doing a karaoke night on a Friday night in a few sort of weeks. We're starting one of them end of August, I think it is. So we're going to have a go at that. It's just generally social things. I mean, race nights, quiz nights, stuff like that. And it's just getting everybody together as almost one group of supporters, on a regular basis. Not always easy to, not everybody's got the time to come and do things like that. But socially, yeah, definitely. I mean, away matches, they're like days out. Especially some of the teams we play, people like Lowestoft, Seaside, everybody gets on the coach and it's a day out. It's a great day out for everybody, Not that I do that now, because being stuck here, I'm stadium manager, so they're all away at the Seaside enjoying themselves. I'm here with the reserve guys because they're playing a home match, so that's not so bad though. I get to see the football.